you stop touring, and then in our life, the money stops generating. So I found out my insurance had lapsed, and I found out that, we ceased paying certain bills because the cash flow wasn't there. For those of you who follow me or are aware of who I am or follow me on social media, you realize I haven't been active that much lately. I've taken some time off from public appearances, from shows, and just being out in public to deal with some situations going on in my life. Again, if you do follow me, you know that I'm in the middle of battling with cancer, walking through that journey. And there are times when in the midst of it, I cannot give you a story from the other side because I'm not there yet. I'm right in the middle of it. When I was first diagnosed with cancer, I was the one, because I thought I knew what God was thinking. Never think that. Never think that, because you don't. I mean, we don't. He thinks so much higher and broader than we do that we can't possibly see his outcome. But me, I was like, well, this is gonna be great. I'm just gonna be miraculously cured. What a great testimony that will be. That would be awesome. That would be so good. Oh Lord, I know what you're doing. I know what's gonna happen. And I prayed fervently, and people prayed fervently. And what I realized months later, when I've gone into treatment, is I was literally standing at the edge of the wilderness going, I'm not going in there. I'm not gonna let you bring me off into the wilderness where I have no choice but to lean on you. But, like you said in Hosea, allure them into the wilderness so that he can show us what his love really looks like. And I think I got a chance to see that. But there are a lot of fears. I have two little boys. I have 9 and 6-year-old little boys that I'm raising by myself. I have a career that I have taken a break from for a while. I have a lot of things going on in my life, and I know that we have this perception that celebrities haven't made, or, oh, she's famous, she has nothing to worry about. But in the midst of all of this, being diagnosed and going through biopsies and going through all this testing, and then the plan of action and what are we gonna do and how are we gonna battle this disease, there was one specific day when I found out, you stop touring, and then in our life, the money stops generating. So I found out my insurance had lapsed, and I found out that, we ceased paying certain bills because the cash flow wasn't there. It was one of those situations where you're like, okay, I can fix this if I just do this. And if I do this, I can predict the outcome of this, or I can do this, and we often get lost. I often get lost in the, how am I gonna fix it way of thinking. And that day didn't happen. I literally put down my phone after my 3rd hit of bad news and just laid it down and went outside and sat with our Father. And I said, God, you are bigger than all of this. You are so good. And in the middle of what we think is life-ending and detrimental, and it's gonna be horrible and just ruin my life, he still is bigger than that. And so I sat on my back porch and just praised him. And that's what I chose to do instead of rushing to make 100 phone calls. And it's really neat. God doesn't show up in my life like in a way I can say, hey, look, I got this. He's like the God of hearts. He brought gratitude in the middle of chaos. My heart has been filled with gratitude, with peace, with joy. Every single day is so filled with joy. Like just being in the presence of the Lord. The Bible says that we're to delight in the presence of God. And so to give myself that time in those quiet times to just sit there and be in his presence and just observe, like, Father, you are so good and you're so amazing. That joy comes from the simplest things, whether it's my 6-year-old laughing, because any of you have heard me laugh know I got a big laugh, and I gave it to my son, and so I hear him laugh and then I start to laugh, or just watching the way my kids will think about something, it's like the way they process things. And just being able to sit really in the presence of God is the most joyful thing. I completely get it now when there's people that are like, nope, I want to be left alone. I'm going to spend time with the Lord. I'm like, right on. So it's the joy in the simple things. The only why me I ever had was why me? In all of the craziness of doctors and surgeries and medicine research and this and that. I didn't grow up in church. I know a lot of people that did grow up in church. And I asked, the only why me I had was, why do I get to see your hand? When there are people that have heard of you their entire life and have gone to church and know their Bible 10 times better than me, why did you choose me to see your hand at work? And for that, I'll always be grateful.